Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Ah, this has already been an incredibly stressful week, and it's only Wednesday. I mean, yikes. I don't know about all of you, but I definitely stayed up way too late last night trying to make, some sense out of this election and where it's going and where it's not going. And I woke up this morning and I thought, okay, I need to get this energy, this frequency off of me. I definitely, so I got right on it with my meditation and my sound vibrations and listening to things that were definitely making me feel calmer. And regardless of the outcome of this election, one thing we know for certain, people, we are definitely going to have a long winter. And it's definitely going to be challenging around this pandemic because we really don't have answers yet. We really don't, we're kind of going to be in status quo. We're going to be in a little bit of a lockdown. So I know at times in the last 6, 7 months, I've definitely found myself completely overwhelmed, completely stressed. I had to like basically take a pause and say, all right, girl, you have to check in with yourself. What is going on here? Why are you literally becoming like this train wreck a little bit, at least emotionally? And then, of course, I go and I actually speak to quite a few of the practitioners that you've been introduced to on this show. So, to get me back to that place of balance. So, that's what we're going to learn today. I have a very dear friend on who I love. And she is a functional medicine doctor. We're going to explain a little bit what that is because it's definitely a lot different than a traditional internist. And I believe it's a big difference, and it really helps to keep us much more balanced, much more grounded, healthier. I mean, I've been with a functional medicine doctor now for 13 years, and it's made a huge difference in my life tremendously. So, what I love about my soul sister, Dr. Evelyn Leone, is that she is a wonderful teacher. She's an amazing doctor. She's been working virtually for a couple years now. So I feel like she really has that system down to really help her patients get healthy. She works with them on building their immune system. She works with them on slowing down the aging process, hormones, digestion, just everything that it takes to really be super healthy. And today, she's going to be showing us, sharing with us, with our amazing community here and conversations with our people, many of the techniques that she does, that I believe it's that little bit of what she does that makes her really a game changer in her industry. So now I want to welcome my very dear friend, Dr. Evelyn. Hi.
Thank you, Lavinia. I'm so happy to be here and share with you. You know, my experience as a functional medicine doctor has been to combine holistic and conventional tools. I believe both are needed, yet we need to find a balance by giving enough of what we have as tools in traditional medicine, but also welcoming everything that comes from the Eastern world in terms of yoga, meditation, breathing, because this is very relevant, especially today where stress has become a major cause of illness. So
Ooh.
we know that there is a stress cascade. Every time we're exposed to stress, there is good stress and bad stress, of course. The good stress can be beneficial to us, it's stimulating, but there is a bad stress that is combined with fear, which is really what we're having right now in the midst of this pandemic, elections, and all that. And that stress, eventually, if we don't watch it, might determine our health and might cause some illnesses in that we are not able to stop. So the one thing that I do with my patients, and sometimes they don't take me seriously when I say we need to breathe, but it's very important. Breathing is the basis of who we are. When we are saving patients in the ER, in the ICU, what do we attend first? The airways. Breathing is essential. Yet, what we do in our society, we breathe too superficially and not deep enough, not long enough. So, too fast and not long enough. And oftentimes, I see patients who are having panic attacks. What's happening with that is that they don't take enough of an exhalation,
Mm.
and that breathing, which is accelerated and superficial, gives eventually signal to the brain of panic, and
Mm.
that's how fear takes over. So what we usually do, we give them a brown bag. That's what we used to do in medicine. Give them a brown bag and they would blow into it, and that would stop the nervousness.
Yes.
But there are other ways to do that. So I've encouraged my patients to take on a breathing practice, and I have actually a program that has a morning and evening practice. But also, I give them a tool to kind of distress on the spot, because we all need that. And actually, let's go into it. Let's right now do a little something. There are different ways of distressing on the spot, but I think for what I feel for today, just because of everything that's been going on, we've been up all night, we don't know where this is going. Uh, it would be good to do just 3 little breaths, and I'm gonna go along with you. We're gonna do that quickly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
So the first thing is the spine is very important. So the spine is an essential component of our health, and especially because there's receptors that go directly to the brain. And when we move our spine, we actually trigger the cerebrospinal fluid, which is in our spine, and it nourishes the brain.
Mm.
So it's not random. Yogis are doing those things. And I've been looking into the medical reasons why we're doing this, because I was intrigued. I see yogis are doing better, they're feeling better, they're living longer. Why? Do we have an explanation at the anatomical and the physiological level? And yes, we do.
Mm.
So that, and I'm passionate about it, just because every time I find an explanation in medical terms, I'm like, yes, it's so easy and we can all do it. So
Let's do it. Can we do it now?
yes, yes, yes. So the first thing we're going to do is move our spine. So the posture is very important. When we expand our chest, we are triggering those muscles, these intercostal muscles, to open up, and we breathe deeper as a result of that. So let's do this. Just move your spine. Yes. And feel that you're moving from the bottom of your spine to the top of your spine at the base of your neck. And along with that, let's take a deep inhale when we expand our chest, and exhale with our mouth when we retract. So Lavinia, you're doing it so well. Perfect model.
Feels so good.
And it feels good, and you feel relaxed right away from this. The body has to move. Often when we are caught in our thoughts, we don't move the body, and we barely move our spine unless we're doing exercise. So this is something that you can do at your desk, or you can do while watching TV at any time, and it will help your cerebrospinal fluid to circulate and your brain to stay sharp. Okay, and then so let's go into the next thing. So expanding our chest muscle improves our posture, and also it expands our diaphragmatic breathing, because when our posture is hunched over, we get very little expansion of the diaphragm. And on the diaphragms, there's nerves that are feeding back to the brain. So everything that's feeding back to the brain is very important to our mental and physical health. So this is why your posture is so important, and you want to open your chest. To help that, there is a chest breath that we can do that is also very relaxing. You inhale in your chest only, not with your abdomen, just in the chest, like this. And consciously try to expand your chest. This will also increase your lung capacity. It helps with your immune system. It helps fighting the virus. It's really good for your health. So let's inhale, inhale, inhale. And when you cannot inhale anymore, just hold it a little more and then exhale. And when you exhale, you just feel a complete relief.
Mm.
So let's do it again. Inhale, 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 and release it. And when you release it, yeah, just like you did, Lavinia, just let go of everything. Let go. Let's do it one more time.
Yes.
Inhale, 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 and exhale. So you should feel already your body is a little more present. What breath does is also bringing you to a state of presence. You're more attentive to the present moment, because when you think about your breath, really, you cannot think about what's going on in your mind. So that's why breathing can be a good tool too. The next thing we're going to do is bring even more focus to this present moment. And what I like to do is something called alternate nostril breathing. This is a very a breathing practice that is often taken in yoga because it's calming, and it says that it rebalances the hemispheres of the brain, which I believe brings some sort of balance, because when we inhale from one nostril, exhale from the other one, we create a rhythm that is beneficial to the brain and to the balance. So let's do that. Let's inhale. So you close your right nostril with your right thumb, and you're going to inhale. Yeah, inhale with your left nostril. Inhale deeply, and then hold it a little bit, and then close your left nostril and exhale through your right nostril. So let's do it again. Inhale left nostril. And exhale right nostril. Inhale left nostril. And inhale completely in your chest. And exhale right nostril. And as you exhale, completely deflate the chest. Take out all the air. And again, inhale left. And exhale right. One last time. Inhale left. And exhale right. So I don't know about you, but I'm completely calm right now. How do you feel, Lavinia?
I feel so good. Really, really good. I did my morning practice and I did my morning breath, but not bad. And I'm realizing that maybe under certain circumstances, we just need to do it a little more often. That's just how I'm feeling like. So thank you so much for that. That was so, so great. So let's just jump in there, Dr. Evelyn. What I'd love to do is, not a lot of people know the difference between functional medicine, the approach to it, and traditional internist Western medicine. Even though, like you said in the beginning, you definitely do both. And I just need to say again, I am a huge, huge, huge fan, patient of functional medicine approach to health and well-being. And I know for myself, it totally changed so many things in my life. I mean, ridiculously. So I would love for you to share, what is the difference?
So broadly, functional medicine is a branch of anti-aging medicine, meaning that we help preventing disease, finding disease at the source, and then help with the effects, the negative effects of aging. So what functional medicine does is looking at the patient as a whole. In conventional medicine, which I come from, we have a patient, we find a diagnosis, usually on test results, and also with the history of the patient. And then we give a medicine according to the diagnosis. So functional medicine looks at many different things. First of all, it's not a protocol. We look at each patient as unique. We're all different. We're all coming from different states of genes, life experience, medical history. We're all very different. We don't eat the same thing. We don't exercise in the same way. We all have different needs. And that's why this type of medicine is more personalized. Then we have a different range that we consider on the labs. So some people would have, in conventional medicine, for instance, some people would be considered as having a problem with their blood sugars above a certain number. We look at a broader range and we tend to be a little more preventive. As soon as we see that numbers are starting to change, then we can intervene. And the way we intervene is as naturally as possible. So trying to avoid the strong medications. I believe that strong medications are needed too, of course, and I use them, but just for a certain time. And then we need to take care of our health as a balance. So bringing balance is, in my practice, is done mainly with supplements and hormones, because what happens is that our hormones starts declining as early as the age of 35.
Mm.
And the body then, when the body doesn't have enough hormones and enough nutrients, it cannot do what it's supposed to do. So we want to bring the body back to that where it can do what it's supposed to do. And hormones are one thing, nutrients are the other thing. So I give supplements also, knowing that our absorption levels diminish with age as well. So the older we get, the less we absorb and the more we need that nourishment from the supplements. And I know a lot of patients are complaining about taking so many supplements, but they're so good. I mean, targeted supplements are really good for us. So that's mainly what functional medicine is about, is rebalancing the body so it can prevent any illness. And I especially focus on stress resilience, so balancing the body so it can become more stress resilient, resilient to the attack of a virus or the attack of stress or anything in the environments.
So when you first meet a new patient, what types of things do you look at and ask to determine if they are in true balance? And how do you determine what type of help that they might need? I mean, I know you use blood work because that's one way to look at, but there's other ways that you kind of assess overall what's going on, because the way I understand it, it's definitely about your emotions, your mental, and your physical. I mean, I don't know. I would even say spiritual, meaning as in your spirit, not as in religion, but as in how, like, are you happy? Is your spirit in you? Is it aligned? Is it happy? Is it feeling good? Or is it in a different energy field? But that's just how I felt going through the process that was looked at. So again, just tell us how you do assess those issues with a new patient.
Yes, are you happy is a very good one, actually, because sometimes people have complaints and they feel bad and they fall in love and everything goes. So that just tells you how the component of joy and happiness influences health. So yeah, I do look at all that, and that's the difference that functional medicine is making actually. Because if I were just looking merely at blood work, I would just do what we do in conventional medicine at maybe an extended level. But I really listen to the patients. So their symptoms, what they're sensing and feeling tells me a lot about their health, and especially about where their health is going, because what they say is kind of determining the course of their health and what they think.
Mm,
So we really see where they're at in their minds and how they perceive their own body. I
mm,
notice that many patients are not in touch with their body. They have lost touch, and there's a disconnect between the body and the mind. Uh, they don't know, first of all, they don't know their own anatomies. Many times, I ask them, what is your liver? And they're like, So it's funny, but we don't know who we are inside of us. And it's so important because this body is kind of a miracle machine. I mean, look what it does. It sustains us night and day, so a little knowledge of that is good. So I tend to spend time and telling them what's happening when, for instance, they have a thought and it can become toxic to their body. So why would a thought be toxic to the body? Because a thought is a chemical substance in the brain. That's how it materializes. And then it gives rise to certain hormones and neurotransmitters, and those in turn affect the body. Also, we talk a lot about nutrition because whatever you put in your body is so important, especially today with GMOs, with everything that's going on. So I look at ma- some main complements that are very, very relevant for their health. So nutrition, exercise, how much they move their body, and their thoughts. And then we look at blood work and everything else that we do in conventional medicine. And we, of course, look at hormones and nutrients in the blood work, which we don't traditionally do so much in conventional medicine. So that's the physical intervention that we do, nutrients and hormones. But then the mind is very important, and the breath work is helping with that.
Well, I love that you say that because I remember when I started in with my doctor, and my cholesterol was just starting to go up a little bit, and I had brought him all my records from the past, and he sat down with me and he was like, "Tell me about this year. What's been going on?" And I was in the middle of splitting up with my son's dad, and there was a lot of stuff, a lot of change, a lot of anxiety, a lot of unknowns. I had a lot of fear about, oh my god, how am I going to do this as a single mom? And I just had all this stuff. And he puts so much emphasis on that, and he said to me, Lavinia, I really believe the shifts that are happening in your body right now are because of those stresses. And as soon as we changed that, I started working on that, becoming aware of it, got into a little bit of life coaching. Um, I was, and some more techniques, breathing techniques. I was also maybe working out in a way that was causing, it was too hard. Like I needed to pull back a little bit and work out in a little bit of a different way. And literally, my food was fine. Like I hadn't changed my food at all. My supplements, we changed a little. And when I went back in 4 months and redid it, my cholesterol was way back to where it had been, prior to that. And it was amazing. Like that was like when you see those measurable results, you're like, wow, this is like that got me like I really understood. I mean, I certainly wasn't in a place to be on any kind of a cholesterol medication or anything, but it had gone up. Like I think I went up from something like my normal cholesterol was around 165, 170, and it had gone up to like 195. So it was still considered on the low side, but for me, I was usually at like cholesterol of like, yeah, 165. So it had jumped up quite a bit. And he also pointed out that a lot of it at first, that one jump was my HDL, which is not your good cholesterol.
Healthy.
That was daunting, because like cholesterol isn't cholesterol, like it was my HDL that went up. So then we went back and we redid this. And it was interesting because then after that, my HDL went up, which made my overall number a little bit higher, like to 190, but it was with really good HDL, So it was like I started to really understand how, like, the liver, when you have so much fear and so much anxiety, the liver does not function the way it should be functioning. So it can't do what it needs to do to actually make your cholesterol better, right?
Well, because the liver processes the cholesterol. So it shows you a direct action. And we were talking about the worry that goes to the liver, we're sick in our liver when we worry. And
Right.
that's true. I mean, worry is a mental toxin, and it becomes a physical issue afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
That's I When you can connect those dots like that, it really makes understanding that our thoughts, our words, our actions, our behaviors, all of that is really preventative medicine.
Yes.
That is preventative medicine. And to be able to take some control of that, through mindfulness and through breath work and through awareness. So I love that. I just love connecting those dots. So also, Dr. Evelyn, if right now we know what the situation is, we know we're in the middle of a lot of high stresses that, clearly has us um, sometimes out of our optimum balance mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Like, what are the top things that right now that you recommend for people to do? Top five, like let's say, or five or six things to do to help them manage stress and improve their health and their immune system right now. And can you give us maybe a reason for each one that you're going to give us?
Okay, so the main thing I would recommend them, of course, is to try to calm their nervous system as much as possible, and that includes taking certain supplements that are more relaxing. Magnesium is one of them. We talked about magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is one that actually goes a little bit to the brain and relaxes the brain, but it relaxes the body as well. So most people are going to like magnesium either because they're drinking too much coffee or as soon as we are anxious, magnesium goes away. So it's important to replenish that. Then there are herbs that are,
Confused.
yes,
When would they take that? Like, would that be with the magnesium? First of all, like, is that with food or without food? Is that in the morning or at night? It doesn't matter.
doesn't have to be with food. Magnesium is pretty easy to digest. It's better to take it at night, yes, because it relaxes it. Some people have restlessness in their bed at night, so I give my patients magnesium all the time for that. The other things that we can do for stress levels is take an adrenal support. And I like those supplements that have ashwagandha, especially because it's very grounding herb. I like rhodiola, it's relaxing, and ginseng, because ginseng really rebalances the adrenals. And this one actually that adds cordyceps, which I really like. So having those two supplements is helpful already for stress levels. Then we need to also boost our immune system in those times, right? That's one thing that we cannot leave aside. And the immune system actually is really dependent on our levels of cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So when we're stressed, we're releasing a lot of cortisol, and that inhibits something that is very important to trigger our immune system to become stronger.
Mm.
So we really need to be cautious about that because we don't want to depress our immune system in those times of the pandemic.
Right.
So the main supplements for the immune system, and I think this is what we hear everywhere, and it's true. It's vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. Those are the ones that you can take safely. I mean, don't exceed 25 milligrams with zinc. But you can take vitamin C as much as your stomach can tolerate, your gut can tolerate. And vitamin D, usually you need to have that tested to see what your levels are, but you can be safe by taking 2000 international unit, it's IU.
Wow.
So those are the things that I would recommend as far as supplements. Then, of course, breathing. So that's the reason why breathing can be very relaxing also is because we have the serotonin, which is very important for mood, is mainly produced in the gut. And when we breathe, we are triggering those nerves. We have a nerve plexus here in our solar plexus, in our abdomen. And when we breathe and we expand this, it helps with the release of serotonin. So that's one thing that I really like about breathing is that it calms people down, yes, but it also helps boost their mood and make them feel a little better.
Wow.
So that's the other thing. Then moving. We can't be sitting all the time. We can be immobile. So moving, exercising, as you know, Lavinia, you've been, uh, moving is essential. We need to move. We need to really, if you have to be sitting for hours, make sure that you put an alarm clock that tells you stand up and do some movements
Right.
because we need to circulate the energies in our body.
Well, I even recently brought out my rebounder, my little trampoline, and I've been doing that for 5 minutes, a couple times a day. I mean, my husband looks, he goes, "Oh, this is our new piece of furniture." Because it's right there. Because if it's not there, then I won't do it. But I just felt like just getting the energy, getting the lymphatic system. I mean, our lymphatic system, regular exercise doesn't always get that lymphatic system going. And even I was even away a couple days and I didn't have the rebounder and I just kept bouncing in my room a little bit. I put the timer on and I pretended, but you know what? I felt really good. Like when you're lymphatic, when things are moving like that, and just like it just felt good. Like I think, you just have to find things that aren't a big deal, like, because we just have to do it, like when Nike says just do it, like we just have to find things that we can just do to keep ourselves moving and healthy and the lymphatic system going and our brain going and all those things, because we're learning that like the wine vineyards are telling us that they are having like record breaking months of selling, yeah, not gallons, but cartons, of wine. And like the delivery stores, the wine stores are like saying that they're delivering wine as if people were having, I mean, they're delivering liquor as if people were having parties, but they're having these liquor deliveries and there's really no parties. It's like people are just, they're using alcohol as a way to feel good. And, that can get a little dicey after a while because, I believe maybe a glass of wine at night is probably fine for you, but when you start abusing that, then we start having liver issues and then other things happen from that, right? So we
Right.
just have to come up with a plan, right? Like these plans that just make us ground us and at times like this say, okay, this is going to be my plan for the winter, so I love that. And another thing is I've been hearing like really frightening stories of some younger, when I say young people, I mean like late 40s, early 50s, of these people who have literally had heart attacks and they did not, like, their arteries are not, it's not an artery issue. It's basically after they did the test, they found that these were clearly just stress induced heart attacks. Like it was something, I had some kind of like literally a stress heart attack. I never, I guess I never really understood that. I thought you could have panic attacks or whatever, but I didn't understand that you could actually have a healthy heart and then have something happening at that moment that is making you so stressed out that you could have a heart attack. So like this stuff is really, really serious.
Well, actually, what we saw in the hospital is that most people who are having heart attacks are not the ones who have the high cholesterol levels. It's oftentimes, people who are very stressed and anxious. And there is definitely something to say about the type A personality. I mean, some type A personality can be very positive, and the nature of the thoughts is very important. People who are positive, proactive, usually survive stress much better. Those who ruminate and tend to be more negative, those are the ones who are more prone to disease. And yes, that's a reality, that people can have a heart attack without having any predisposition for it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, a couple of these people, like they work out all the time. They actually work out hard. Like one guy is like a hardcore CrossFit guy, and he eats really healthy, and he takes, I don't know, maybe 100 supplements a day. Like he is really, like if you look at him, you'd be like, oh my God, this guy is like so healthy. But then when I heard about this, you realize he's not doing the mindfulness work. He's not doing the breath. He's not doing the things that we need to do to get our nervous system calm and relaxed. And the other thing I want to talk about is sleep, because we know that in functional medicine, sleep is a key role. And can you explain a little bit why REM sleep is so important and how we can use it to help balance our health?
So yeah, the REM sleep is very important because this is actually the active phase of the sleep where we detoxify.
Mm.
And so it's funny because sometimes people have trouble losing weight, and no matter what they do, how much they exercise, how healthy they eat, they can't lose weight. And then I ask them, how is your sleep pattern? Oh, I can't sleep. I wake up all night. I can't sleep. I know right away that this is what the problem is, because during that REM sleep is when we burn the most calories.
Mm.
If we don't have that, it sends a message to the brain that we are in danger and we need to hold on to something, and we hold on to the weight. So then you can go on the elliptical as long as you want. Your body doesn't want to let go of the weight. So this is one thing, but also the REM sleep is important to detoxify as a whole. The whole body gets, especially when now we have so much inflammation, this is a key moment where this is happening. It's like a washing machine. You just wash those things. And it's also a way to regenerate. Health works in, so we exhaust ourselves. It's okay, we can exhaust ourselves, but we need to regenerate.
Yeah.
And when I see people working, I'm okay. I mean, you can work as much as you want, be passionate about your work, but at some point you need to completely regenerate. And it's not just lying down in your bed and keep thinking. You need everything to go. You need to have a complete void. And this is what REM sleep provides. When you have those deep phase, there's a deep phase of sleep before REM sleep, and all those phases are important. Not only REM sleep, but all that together that constitute a good night of sleep, which is different from you. We're all different, I'm fine with 6 hours. Some people, I would say under 6 hours is, you need a little more. 5 hours is often not enough. Some people need to sleep 10 hours. We're all different. But as far as we completely regenerate, you want to go to bed, sleep, and wake up regenerated.
Well,
So
I'm definitely a 7.5 hour girl.
okay, well, that's perfect. That's perfect. Actually, 7 to 8 hours is
Yes,
perfect.
I love my sleep. I feel like I just have all cylinders ready to go, and I jump out of bed, and I'm energized. I don't drink coffee. I don't even need caffeine. Like I don't need any of those artificial things outside of me. And I notice if I don't have a great night's sleep, I'm I'm more irritable. I'm easily irritated. Like things can really affect me when I don't have as great of a night's sleep. So for me personally, I take my sleep incredibly serious. I'm really very like, but my sleep is very precious.
It is. It is. But this is also, another thing that you do during the REM sleep. You store your memories. So
Mm,
it's kind of, all these things that are in your brain, you just put them in some compartments and then you have more space to think. So if you don't sleep, that's why you get brain fog, because you don't have the memory storage that happens during this phase.
mm,
It's important. Sleep is very, very important.
yeah. So I think lastly, I know you're going to share more of an end of the day breathing technique with us that we can do to either prepare for sleep or just prepare us as we're like not getting on our computers and we're starting to like wind down so that we can have a good night's sleep, because as we know, you can't just be like this and then expect to go and have a peaceful sleep, right? I know, for me, I usually am start getting off my computer by 6 o'clock. And if I have to get on, I'm really careful about making sure that the light is very dim so I'm not getting any strong light coming into my brain. And I'm a big one on, like I've said this before on our conversations with our people, I like my room black, really blacked out, like I have blackout everything. I've even gone a little further, which we'll have someone on in a couple of weeks hopefully, where I'm like even having all my electromagnetic fields and all the electricity, like the thing they call dirty electricity, turned off at night. And I'm noticing that I'm actually sleeping a lot more soundly now that I've been taking that extra step. So let's get ready with doing that calming, delicious nighttime breath work that you're going to share with us.
So yeah, sleep hygiene is very important. That's the first thing I was told. When I was rotating as a resident, I couldn't sleep, and then I had to go home and attend my kids, and it was a disaster. Don't ask me to sleep during the day. I was not able to do it because I'm like you. I need complete darkness to sleep. So I learned a lot about sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
And definitely getting off the devices, getting off all the conversations that can trigger your mind. It's time to unwind. So at night, there is actually in my program a whole night practice, and we do some alternate nostril breathing. As you have seen, it's very relaxing and it kind of flushes the thoughts in the mind. But there is something that I've been doing with my kids. So let me tell you, my son used to have nightmares and he would wake up in the middle of the night and I'm a new mother. What do I do? I intuitively, I knew that breathing has always helped me. So I was doing that with him. I don't know if I'm going to show you that, but uh, basically, when we inflate the abdomen, so inhaling in our belly and inflating it as a balloon, that, as I said before, it triggers those nerves in the abdomen that release the neurotransmitter that are calming to the brain. And so when you inhale and make a balloon with your abdomen and you exhale, completely deflating the balloon, that helps you take a deep, deep breath that brings a sense of calm. And I was doing that with my children. So I was putting my hand on their belly and they would inhale and exhale. And I would make sure that they would feel my hand going deep into their belly when I was doing that. So when you do it for you, do the same thing. Inhale and exhale. At first, it's a little hard because we're not used to breathe with our belly. We breathe mainly with our chest, which is part of the problem why we're so anxious in our society. But when we start practicing that and feeling this movement of the abdomen, it becomes very helpful. And
Mm.
that's what was inducing sleep in my children. And to this day, they're still telling me, Mom, when I get anxious, I'm still doing it. So I know that this sounds maybe a little easy and silly, but it really triggers a lot of the neurotransmitters. Also, people who have gut issues, which most of us have nowadays, leaky gut. And yes, part of it is the food, but a lot of it is stress. So when we are able to do this kind of breathing, it rebalances the gut, and naturally the flora, the bacteria, the good bacteria tend to flourish more. So this is not the only thing, of course, but this is a very helpful way to regenerate gut health as well. But in terms of inducing sleep, I haven't seen anything better. It,
Mm.
it's just, yeah, you're in your bed and you inflate and you exhale and you deflate that balloon, and right away you're going to feel a release in all your body. And you're also, we need a release of melatonin at night. So during the day we need cortisol to get going. The levels of cortisol raise early in the morning when we wake up, and it's a signal that we need to go. And then as we go during the day, around 2 p.m., 3 p.m., the levels go down to give rise to melatonin. And melatonin is the hormone that helps us sleep. So when we have a healthy dance of that, cortisol is raising, then it's melatonin, then we have a nice sleep cycle. When we don't have that, this is when sleep starts being problematic. And breathing with your abdomen can help that release of melatonin as well.
Oh my gosh. Dr. Evelyn, I can't wait to get in my bed tonight and do that breathing. Anyway, first of all, I really want to thank you so much for taking time with our community and sharing all your beauty, your wisdom, your knowledge, your just gentle love. You are just such a beacon of light. And thank you so much. You guys, we're going to be putting a lot of Dr. Evelyn's information. We're going to be putting links onto her breathing programs. A lot of the stuff we talked about will be on laviniaerrico.com. So please go on there and you'll be able to stay in contact with her. If you want to do a virtual appointment, I really recommend it if you're ready to, take your health up to the next level. She's amazing. And again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and please keep breathing. I think we're going to probably have to breathe the next few days before we understand what's going on. Until then, keep sending love out. Keep just filling yourself up with joy. And I love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Thanks,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Evelyn.
Thank you, Lavinia. Thank you.